Yeah, you were here
Okay.
last time. This would be like
Yeah.
a lot more personal. Hopefully, it will be a good experience for both of us. So let's get started.
Okay.
Hmm.
They called RTS. What's the volume so low? Can you even hear it?
I can hardly hear it, so I can turn off
And
the.
I initially thought, okay, so it's maybe like Huawei's version. So I thought it's TypeScript because it literally has TS in it. But you remember this part, right? I went through like
Yeah.
a bunch of language definitions, and
Yeah.
I gave my conclusion.
Yeah.
Let's see what he has to say about my conclusion. It sounds like Java.
Wait, it's true. It sounds like
At
Java.
that point, how about you just use Java? What is
Well, that's funny how you said that. Because
Bruh, why is so loud? My earguns
I don't know.
fucked. What the fuck, bro? Bruh, just
Get a better mic.
domestic
mic.
terrorism.
Loud equals funny.
Holy
That's
shit.
funny how you said that. Loud equals
Sorry,
funny.
I said that.
Java API copyright infringement overview of the Oracle versus Google matter.
So
what's it? It's saying like you cannot use Java?
No, there's a lawsuit between Google and Oracle. Oracle is suing Google for using Java because reasons.
The Java
Okay.
API copyright infringement overview.
And Bro is just literally reading this whole article. And I like the fact that he didn't even change a single word. So I can literally, I don't even have to find my source to debunk how
Okay.
stupid he is. Because he's trying to say, like, Huawei can't use Java because there was a lawsuit
Yeah,
between...
it's like that can be the point he's trying to make, right? Like
He is trying to make that point.
Trying to find some evidence showing that Huawei cannot use Java if Oracle remote it. So is it true?
Let's see what he has to say.
To the United States rendered a landmark judgment, putting an end to the decade-long dispute between.
So this dispute was settled in 2021. RTS was released in the year of our Lord 2022.
Okay.
This lawsuit is already settled, right? Like this is the first sentence of this article, right? So, do you might just assume like, oh, Google might lost the lawsuit?
Okay, yeah.
Oracle and Google.
No, Google won. Google fucking
Google
won. Yeah, Google literally won. And Bruce just reading this entire article. He didn't even comment on it. He was literally just reading this. Bruce in the text to speech.
Yeah, that's kind of stupid. Like, you don't need to read the entire article. You can just tell us what happened instead of just...
like, and this article is also pretty dog shit. It was also like explaining very basic stuff such as what is the API. Like, dude, it's not relevant to our discussion.
So why did Oracle
owns Java? Oracle owns Java, and according to Oracle, like the original license is that if you're using Java for open source projects, it's fine. And Android is open source, and that's why they didn't obtain a license. But then Google made like a bunch of changes. I think the argument from Oracle is
you're still
like
using Java.
The free license is not designed to be used that way. And then the Supreme Court was saying that's fair use. You can't really argue. Yeah.
Okay.
I just skip. Wait, that's not. Let's just go to takeaways. Let's just go to the last part. Takeaway. Oh shoot! What the fuck?
Oracle API packages were considered fair use.
So what's his argument? Like, I guess maybe something he can say.
His argument is
like was enforced. The Supreme held that Google's use of Oracle API packages was considered fair use.
Yes, fair use, and
it's a matter of law. So, is it worth the effort of spending the next 11 years fighting?
What?
That's not how law works. That's literally not how law works. Okay, so how about I lower by volume?
I don't think it's your modern problem. It's just he's not saying things like a normal person. He's not speaking like a normal person. It sounds like he's on drug or something.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, he's being extremely sleepy. And
sleepy living harmony. What is that argument? Like, that's precisely not how laws work.
So let me just make sure I understand what he's trying to say. He's saying like if Huawei use Java, like Oracle can sue.
Yeah, they can sue them, and they'll presumably fight in courts for the next 11 years.
What?
This is why I was saying that he has no technical arguments. I don't even think this is
I think this goes all the way back to like, even if you are not using Java, you can use something else, right? There is nothing stopping you from using TypeScript.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, technically, TypeScript has... Technically, TypeScript has similar
so is TypeScript also like proprietary, like from Microsoft? Like, can Microsoft stop you from...
No. TypeScript is compiled to JavaScript. And JavaScript is, in fact, owned by Oracle. So, assume using Java has legal issue, which it doesn't. Supreme Court has decided that it is fucking fair use. The Supreme Court considers that to be fair use. And the way that laws work is once we have established a precedent, you don't have to fight over the same fucking shit again and again. Like,
yeah, and that's also the case because we have like previous cases, right? Previous cases.
Yeah.
This is the case that Huawei can refer to and say that, okay, if this is fair use, we are also like fair use, right?
And also, like, if Android is in legal trouble, Harmony OS is also in legal trouble because they are using fucking Android. So I literally have no idea what bro's talking about.
Is it really worth it?
Yeah, is it really worth it?
The AI bots.
The AI, oh yeah, he's also calling us AI.
Okay. Yeah, glad to hear that.
Living harmony. Yeah, we are AI. Yes, AI. Actually, like, I thought he's like an AI bro. I thought he was pro AI.
Okay.
I thought he really liked AI, right? Like, you imagine that we will have the future is AI. We're kind of like
future is AI.
bachelor's, master's level AI. Yeah.
PhD level intelligence.
PhD level intelligence. And apparently he's like, oh, kind of racist to AI. Do you know hating AI is racist? Do you know that?
Don't get that. What made Google move away from Java development? Well,
at first, we were just like reading another article that has nothing to do with anything, and also that didn't address
TLDR for this article.
TLDR at first
because of
it's just like Kali has syntactic shiver. I think that's the core argument of that article. The article says there's like potential legal trouble with Oracle, with Java, and Kotlin is also a better language to write than Java. Both of which I agree. The problem is ArcTS is a worse language than TypeScript.
Yeah, that's true. Like, if you want to argue that ArcTS is better than Java or better than TypeScript or better than JavaScript, you have to prove it. You have to show me, like, how is it better instead of just saying it's faster, it supports Harmony OS, which doesn't mean
doesn't
anything,
even
right?
say it's faster. It just say like I don't even know what's it.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, there's no
declarative. It
argument
just says
for RTS
declarative.
is backward, but there was some like propaganda saying like
They
no, Tangi
scale
is
up.
backward. Or
Scale up. They
or
scale
yeah,
up.
this sounds like another worse version of TypeScript. How is it
It's-
better to coding RTS? Is there
Yeah,
any
okay.
reason to use it? I don't get it. I was saying like I'm not using Kotlin anyway, so I'm not sure how good Kotlin is. So I don't comment on that. I don't want people to
For
know that.
starters, you don't have to write public static void main. You can have a normal normal main function. You can actually just
Okay.
write functions in Kotlin.
Okay.
But that alone is a huge W.
Yeah, but this sounds like a very small issue to me. But anyway.
It is, but they also have like better standard library, like you have system.
I'm actually wondering if like a lot of
System
people are
out.
actually using Kotlin at this time, or like is Kotlin even popular? Because I don't think
Kotlin
I
is
know a
pretty
lot
popular.
of Kotlin.
I
Okay.
know a bunch of Kotlin developers. I have like friends still C# and Kotlin development.
Okay. So is it like I wonder if like most of the Android developers are using Kotlin or they are still using Java at this point?
I think like a sizable amount of them are using Kotlin actually.
Okay. Fair.
Uh,
Yeah, let's read some like Kotlin propaganda to see
let's
why.
compare. Actually, let's just compare like different languages, right?
Yeah, compare their
With
marketing
RTS.
material. Why Kotlin?
Why Kotlin? Let's say start Kotlin tour. Theory practice. Okay. Kotlin overview. Okay, this is their first
Multi-platform.
selling point. Multi-platform.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, multi-platform.
I can't even find that with RTS. Like, at least I know they have
Yeah, RTS
multi-platform.
is not like showing it's cross-platform.
Yeah, and that here,
It's
calling for server side.
cross-platform over Harmony OS, but not over other operating system and other environment.
I think this is one of their selling points. They're trying to like argue it's kind of similar to JavaScript. So you can write the
Okay,
server
we can have like
and the
server-side codes in Kotlin as well. That's a pro. Yeah, RTS
that's
doesn't
like
have.
maybe they have that. I mean,
Yeah, that's
they
a
didn't
fair like
tell
marketing
you.
material to show me why I probably want to use Kotlin.
They talk
After
about
reading
like,
this, I know like
Spree.
at least
Like,
some of the
you can
reasons
use
to use
fucking
it.
Spree. You can use hacking Spree.
Okay, you can use the existing framework. That's definitely a good thing.
Yeah. And there's some
Backward
examples
compatibility.
using production, JetBrains, Chess.com,
Okay,
Adobe.
some of
So
the software using it.
okay, Android.
Android development.
is like pretty.
I don't think
pretty
we need to
obvious.
read a lot of that. We know
What's
that.
new in Kotlin? Okay, let's see what's new in Kotlin.
No, there's more. There's more. Go up. There's some like
Wasm.
WebAssembly. I think this is definitely important, right?
Yeah,
Like
you can
does it
compare to them.
support?
They have native.
We have native
Wait,
support.
they
Yeah, that's
have native code yet. I don't even know. They can run without a virtual
no. We can
machine.
use LLVM to compile to native machine code.
Yeah,
This is definitely like one of the
RTS
things you want to say about your language if you actually have this feature. If RTS doesn't market this way, it's just
No. Fucking Huawei was yapping about how good their Arc compiler, Arc runtime was. Like, what the fuck is that? What does it even do?
I don't know.
No idea, right? You can see like interruptibility.
Arc runtime is a
interrupted
runtime. It's
C.
probably just like a
Oh, they even have Swift
runtime,
Objective-C interruptibility. That's kind of interesting. That's
yeah.
interesting.
This is what cross-platform support really is, right? You have to
Yeah.
support other environment, other framework instead of just supporting Harmony OS. Like I feel like if Huawei developed Kotlin, I feel like if Huawei developed Kotlin, or like if Kotlin is one of the Huawei language, they would just market it as like Kotlin can run on Android or Chrome OS, and that's it.
Yeah.
We have cross-platform support. That's stupid. That would be so stupid.
Oh yeah, let's see the comparison. This is the biggest comparison.
Okay.
You imagine this is different from Java, where fucking system, fucking out don't print LN. That's like mental.
I mean,
disease.
to be honest, I don't care about the synthetic sugar. That's the least important thing.
They also don't enforce the back. What's that? Semicolon.
Semicolon. Yeah, I mean, that's still also not important. To be honest, right? Like synthetic sugar is
That
just
is not.
this.
I'm reading the synthetic and idiom stuff that they have. Like,
But if you are arguing
like, they
synthetic
poison
sugar is
stuff.
important, RTS has some new synthetic sugar, I think.
They don't. It literally is a worse TypeScript.
Yeah.
Get started. Let's see.
That's like, what about Tongji? Like, Tongji is one of the.
Let's forget about Tongji. That doesn't fucking matter.
Okay, let's just read the RTS document.
Why should I use it?
Why should I use it?
It's a preferred language for Harmony OS.
Yeah, that's clear, right? Like, let's say if Google say like why you should use Kotlin because it's preferred language for Android, that would be stupid. No one will use it. Right?
The feature is it has a stricter static check.
That's another language.
Introduction
that's
to
not new.
RTS. Introduction to RTS. In case you forgot, I still need to show you this. Fucking this bloody hell.
So is it just like a subset of like TypeScript?
It literally is a subset of TypeScript. Like you can't just like make a union or something.
Well,
you have to like make a class.
I would argue that having a subset of TypeScript is not necessarily a bad thing, right? Like,
if you just want strict type check, you can turn on strict type check in fucking TypeScript. It's a flag
that's good.
that you can turn on.
The problem is like it doesn't have any language specific features like backward compatibility or like I don't know.
Like this is just JavaScript.
Language interoperability.
They
something like
have
that, right?
They have that. They just don't care about it. Anyway, let's go back to the original video. So now we've established the fact that Kotlin is actually a better language and ArcTS is the worst TypeScript. Let's see what he has to say about ArcTS. Like this, for starters, these two examples are not comparable. There's no lawsuit going on for Huawei. And second, ArcTS is not an improvement compared to anything. It's definitely not an improvement compared to fucking Kotlin.
The TypeScript. The differences between Java and TypeScript.
What? Who the fuck write this article? The difference between Java and TypeScript.
Fucking AI generated bullshit.
Yeah, this is AI generated bullshit.
Yeah, I wonder if
nobody would actually read it.
Yeah, I think it's stupid.
It's different from Java compilation.
Yeah, but ArcTS, again, is not TypeScript. It runs on JVM. Bro's just saying, I remember there was a part when I say, like, if ArcTS is still OOP out of the wazoo, why don't you just use Java? And he's saying, oh, well, Java and TypeScript are different. I'm just saying that ArcTS, TypeScript is, in fact, less OOP than Java. But ArcTS is more OOP than regular TypeScript because you have to have a class for every single type because they have that stupid type system.
Yeah, I don't, because like I still don't get it. Like, what's the point he's trying to make? Like, he's just trying to say
he
TypeScript.
He thought
I don't get it. I thought he's trying to make the point that like RTS is more like TypeScript than Java. So
no.
How is that important?
He can't
like
find an
no
article.
matter what, it's just like another language without any new features. Unlike Kotlin introduced a lot of like good features. It runs on server. You can do server-side development. You can have like compile to native code. I think that's one of the biggest advantage if I want to actually use Kotlin, right? Like RTS doesn't have any of these like fancy features or features that maybe I would consider if I actually want to use it. They have better TypeScript. Or even someone just prefer RTS. It doesn't have like any new features. It's
That's
just
true
a
as
synthetic shooter. I don't care about it.
Well, I mean, technically, language like programming languages are generally just like syntactic sugar and packages.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like you could argue that.
problem with RTS is it doesn't have packages nor syntactic sugar.
Yeah, that's
It
true.
runs on
Like it doesn't have
JVM.
any good packet groups, and also like you can argue that for Kotlin, what was actually fancy is the compiler, right? That's able to compile Kotlin in native code. But
No,
RTS
that's not
doesn't have
the
more
fancy part.
compiler
The
like that
fancy part is
either,
like
right?
it has great interruptibility with Java. You can use like Spring and stuff, and it runs everywhere.
Yeah, that's
because
one of
it
the
runs on 3
comparison
billion
of Kotlin.
devices, by the way. 3 billion
Yeah,
devices.
so what's good about RTS? Does it have like any better compilers that's able to compile with other languages? Does it have like native CodeJS support? It doesn't, at least based on what we read about the marketing material and the documentation, it doesn't have any of those, right? It just says it's a preferred language of HomniOS, which doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, that's like
You can't say it's a good thing. If the only marketing material is it runs on HomniOS, that doesn't mean anything to like any developer, right? If you're a developer, like one piece of software, you should know that.
That is why I'm saying that he has no tactical arguments, and you should not expect him to give you technical arguments. Like if there really is an tactical argument to be made, he would be making that.
I was just wondering if he's actually making some play. I want to make sure that I get it.
Okay, here's the real Antichrist. You are wondering what the fuck is that Antichrist?
I don't know.
Idiot.
Okay.
Antichrist. Antichrist. Here comes the Antichrist part.
Antichrist the translation.
I know.
I didn't see that coming.
Oh, you're think about it. It does mean Antichrist.
Which is emerging. It's vital for future applications.
Another article. What the fuck?
The state and the future of Java desktop application development. Who cares?
Who cares?
Java and TypeScript were like at least contentiously related. What the fuck is this? This is not Huawei. This is not like related to lawsuit. This is just the future of Java.
I just want to hear what's the point he's trying to make by showing this article. Like, is he trying to say Java is good, Java is bad? What's the point he's trying to make?
I think he's just replying to this point we were making. This Java. What is?
Why don't you use Java? Okay, so he's trying to say Java is bad. Okay, he lists a group of articles.
Oh, wait, hold
the
on.
first one is saying like Huawei cannot use Java because maybe Oracle could sue them. And then he listed some articles showing the difference between Java and TypeScript, saying RTS is more like TypeScript.
He showed an article about why Google switched to Kotlin. Then he showed an
article.
Okay,
so that's why Huawei should also have their own Kotlin or Kotlin-like, but RTS is not Kotlin. It's worse than TypeScript. It's worse than anything else. And then he showed this article saying the future of Java desktop application, showing that Java is
schizophrenia. This part is complete schizophrenia. Like the previous part, I can like somewhat understand why would you think those were relevant to the conversation if you don't write any program. This is like completely schizophrenia. How's this going to do anything?
Yeah, let's read this article.
Web development connecting to doing businesses like software as a service, SaaS.
SaaS, yes, and
yeah.
What Java can do development. Therefore, getting things right.
What just happened? What just happened?
Like this part, like to confuse your enemy, you have to confuse yourself.
Which is emerging.
What?
It's
What
vital
is
for
immersion? What is immersion?
TypeScript development. This is the previous article comparing Java with TypeScript. And then, like,
Okay, but yeah, he showed the Java
Based
in laptop
software
development.
yeah,
What happened
yeah,
to that?
which
yeah,
is
that's
which
for the
is immersion.
entire part.
Okay.
It's vital for future applications,
Future
including
applications, okay.
AI.
AI, who the fuck writes
AI finding
fucking
expertise, okay.
Java? Who writes
Java.
Java?
Straight up. Like he
Companies
showed this.
like
He showed this article and said nothing. The state and future of Java desktop application development and what?
And also, what the fuck is the AI generated article?
they do this stuff.
They do this stuff.
They do this stuff what?
They're destroyed. I'm in shambles now. I'm in shambles.
And this bro
he
even
knows his
sober? If
He
he
knows his
drunk?
stuff. He knows his stuff.
While plugging their web development and connecting to
Well, plugging their web development connect. What the fuck is this language?
doing businesses like software.
Dude, business like so.
You
Wait.
can use Java to write
What?
business software. You can do business using Java.
Oh, British
service,
people, you
SaaS.
speaking English? I don't get it. The service is SaaS. What the fuck
It's
does that
not
even mean?
British. It's clearly not fucking British.
And that's it.
Destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck just happened?
You don't get it. He installed the HMS core on Windows, so it's like canonically following. I said he installed HMS. Oh, this is the part. Wait, like when you were asking why is he using Windows, when he was saying he's using Harmony, and I said he installed HMS core on his machine. And
Uh-huh.
therefore, it's canonically Harmony OS.
Okay.
What do you think is his argument against it?
Like, I don't think he should even argue against this
But
because
he
this
was,
is
he
good
was
thing, right?
engaging in the argument, and it was beautiful. It was so
Like
fucking
we were
beautiful.
saying, he's actually using Harmony OS instead of Windows, right? That's a.
It's literally using Windows. No, let's see. No, do you remember? Do you know my joke? I was saying he installed HMS core on Windows. Therefore, it's canonically Harmony OS. Cause like the HMS core is like a bunch of dependencies that Huawei uses, and that's like a part of the propaganda. Like, oh,
Yeah,
why
that's pretty
can
much
can my
like
Huawei laptop use?
LSD is like the Harmony OS.
No. Do you remember like Huawei has the like screen share tool on their Windows machine because they have like a connecting device thing on Windows?
Yeah. Like the
Like a device
continuity is all
continuity thing. Yeah. They like in the press material is that like, oh, and we can only do that because we have a HMS core that's like shared on all the platforms. Which
Okay.
is something that everybody does. But I was
Yeah.
just making fun of the idea that because you
Okay.
installed a Huawei software, the entire operating system suddenly becomes
It's Harmony OS. I get it.
Yeah.
And but we are on his side, right? We are on his side. Like you are actually
I
using
was
Harmony
saying
OS,
it
you make it
jokingly. I was saying it jokingly, right? Let's see what. And he's arguing against me. Let's see his argument against me. Let's see. Huawei does.
Okay.
Oh, it's just a layout.
It's just a layout. So
What?
Microsoft Windows is just a layout. It's just
Wait,
a
so
layout.
he actually believes he's using Harmony OS and Windows is just on top of it. Is that what he's trying to say?
I think
Like
so.
Windows is like a Windows manager on
Yes,
Harmony
I
OS.
think Cargo is actually in Java. it's and the kernel is Army
That's
OS.
fucking
It's
crazy.
It does nothing other than virtual machine. So
What does it does nothing other than virtual machine.
Wait, what are you referring to? Like, are you referring to the Windows or referring to the HMS
It's a
core? I don't know.
layout. What the hell?
does nothing other than virtual machine. So it's not really its own complete ecosystem. So
Microsoft Windows is not its complete ecosystem.
Wait, is he
so
talking about Microsoft Windows or talking about HMS core?
It is about Windows, because we were yapping about why the fuck is he not using Harmony OS, but instead using
Yeah, but
Windows.
you're saying he's using HMS core, so he could also be just referring to the HMS core. And I just want to make sure I understand what he's trying to say.
By the way, it doesn't make sense, because the topic is still about Windows. Like, what do you mean by it's not a complete ecosystem by itself?
Yeah, let me make sense.
So learn the difference.
Do you want to watch the whole thing again in case I think you're confused. Do you want to watch it again?
I'm deeply confused. Like, I thought he's trying to say maybe it still doesn't make sense. Like,
You
HMS
confuse
is
your
not a
enemy, you
layout.
must confuse yourself. Let's watch it again. I will shut up this time so that you have more time to digest. You don't get it. He installed the HMS core on Windows, so it's like canonically following that.
Okay.
Oh, it's just a layout. It does nothing other than virtual machine. So it's not really its own complete ecosystem. So learn the difference.
What? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, it doesn't make sense. He's talking about eyebrow. Like, if he's talking about Windows, he's saying Windows is just like a layout. What does that mean? Like, is it the window manager?
Okay,
Like,
also, what is a virtual machine?
It doesn't make sense either. Like, Windows is a fucking operating system. It's not a virtual machine. And it does not really have its own complete ecosystem. What does that even mean? Like,
the runtime is fake. It's fake and gay.
It still doesn't make sense. If he's talking about HMS is just like a package.
I think I made a more coherent argument for Harmony OS, even though I was making fun of the idea. Like, you can't reasonably argue that like userland utilities are still like a part of the operating system, like, and arguably a more important part of the operating system than the kernels. Right? Like, user space programs are the things that you use the most. And he just goes, the layout, virtual machines, and not a complete ecosystem. Getting destroyed.
It's definitely not a software developer. It's not familiar with any of the operating system and any software development stuff.
I think I don't even think you don't need to be a software developer, right? You just need to be like knowledgeable about tech in general.
Yeah, he's definitely not from the tech industry in general.
I think it's just like everything that he knows about the world is like it's entirely fabricated by Huawei.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because I think like virtual machines layout, like virtual machines, like very kind of important, right?
Like, it doesn't mean anything in this context, right? There's no virtual machine here. There's no layout here. We're talking about HNS and operating system. Why he's using Windows?
There is virtual machine in Harmony OS, because Harmony OS is using Android. So there are like many levels of virtual machines going on. And that is why like a lot of Huawei presses have that.
Is HMS using QEMU or like any virtual machine to support cross-platform support? I don't know. I don't think so.
Maybe it's like running Java or something.
I thought it's just like a runtime or like
no, it's not related. It's just not related to anything.
It's not related to the topic we're talking about.
Bro's just speaking gibberish.
Like we're having reaction to reaction.
Well, Yeah, how about like living in Harmony? You should get a VTuber model. So you're taking more faces.
Yeah, that's true. You should get your own VTuber model.
Yeah, you just get like a free one. You don't have to have your own. You can just like go online and download one, or use AI to
Yep.
generate one, as I've just done.
Yep.
Let me stop you there. However, it's not.
Yeah, that's definitely what
That's
a
not-
Brit sounds like.
That's not.
That. Do you remember?
I don't know
was,
what he's trying to say. Let him speak.
she didn't say anything.
Living
She just jumped.
in harm.
He just jumped away. I have no idea what is he trying to say here, right? Like previously, I can just think, oh, maybe he's just stupid, right? He's just like not really familiar with tech.
Yeah,
But
I haven't finished watching this clip either, so I thought he's trying to skip to somewhere else and speak something.
He's not saying anything. I think he's like intentionally leaving this part out, cause he does cut a lot of stuff. I think he's leaving this part out as a proof of me saying he's definitely a Brit. And he just left the part where you said that is definitely not the Brit out. Like, why do you even do that? Like, that's not a normal place to skip. This time, look closer.
What happened though?
Let's watch it closely.
Good.
On, like, I don't know, like any x86 machine.
Let me stop you there. However, it's not.
Yeah, that's definitely what
That's
a
not-
Brit sounds like.
That's not.
That.
Living.
And he just cut.
Yeah, talking about like he doesn't sound like a British. And he escaped that. That's kind of suspicious. That's kind of
Yeah,
sus, dude.
Why would you do that? That's so weird.
That's
In
kind of
harmony.
sus.
Like, it doesn't make sense one way or another. Like, he's obviously not a Brit. And there's nothing wrong about not being a Brit. As a matter of
I don't know.
fact, most of the people on this planet Earth are not Brits. You don't
Yeah,
have
that's
to be
true.
a
Maybe
Brit.
his racist. He think British is better. I don't know.
Like, there are only two cases, right? Either he's not Brit, in which case cutting off is stupid because you're taking things out of context. I do not think any reasonable person would consider him to be a Brit.
That's true.
Or he's actually a Brit. In that case, defend yourself. Defend your position. Like, it's not that hard to defend your position if you're actually a Brit. You can give many proofs. But consider the fact that he can't even get third person singular right. He's just not a native English speaker. There's no way that he is.
It's derived from light to west, without any ace of code, with its own independent technology stack.
It's my whole point, my whole video was about the fact that it's stupid and you probably don't need
You're very stupid.
I still don't know what he's trying to make.
Let's see what he's trying to say.
Because you don't understand the gravity.
I don't understand the gravity.
The gravity.
I don't believe in Newton. I don't believe in gravity. Gravity's fake.
Of the state where the company needs to have its own technology stack.
Yeah, maybe glad, yes.
But like again, I feel like we're talking over each other. To say, oh, we need to like
I
invent
think
everything.
we are talking over ourselves, but he's not talking at all. He's just saying things over and over again. I'm still, because, okay, here's the thing. I'm actually curious about what's the point he's trying to make, and I don't get it. Like, he's not making his point. I'm
I
just
think-
curious.
Okay,
to
here's
hear it.
my understanding. My
Uh-huh.
understanding is that in the original clip, I was saying that Huawei doesn't need to build a fucking language, a compiler, a kernel,
I totally agree.
Like, you don't need that. And he's saying that it's important for a tech company to have its own technology stack. And that is why I'm saying I feel like we're talking over each other.
Okay, let me double check that I get what he's trying to say. He's saying like a tech company must have its own operating system, own language, own tech stack. No matter what, no matter if this tech stack is better than other options, other languages, no matter like if this actually worth it. I don't know if I understand him correctly.
I think
Is
the
this
issue
where he's
is
drinking it?
I think the issue is both claims make sense in a vacuum. Like the claim that you don't need to invent anything, and the claim that you probably should have your own tech stack are not mutually exclusive. And
That's true.
both
Like
make sense
because
in
the problem
a
is
vacuum.
the tech stack Huawei has doesn't offer any new features that's actually valuable. It's just like an existing tech stack, like implemented again. I think that's the reason why we think it's unnecessary. Why is that?
And that
Right?
is why I was saying we were talking over each other. Because when we
Yeah,
have
exactly. I think it's definitely important, or like it's valuable if you have like a new tech stack that offers more features, that offers better like development experience, better I don't know, better efficiency, or like it's just plan faster. But at this point,
Lord.
I don't think Huawei has any like the tech stack Huawei has any of those features. I don't know.
Or even just basically having your own modes is important. Both claims make sense in a vacuum. But we're not in a vacuum. In the case of Huawei, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
beyond
He's not
surviving.
pointing out any technical reason why Huawei needs to have its own tech stack, or why Huawei's tech stack is superior. He's not pointing out, right?
Again, he has no technical argument. If he had any, he would be making instead of reading AI-generated articles
No, that's
of
true,
the
right.
difference between Java and
I was
TypeScript.
disappointed. I thought he's like kind of at least understands some.
Do you really think anyone who has a life? Do you really think
Yeah.
anyone who has a life would be posting Huawei propaganda 24/7?
That's true.
Surviving.
True.
Java, like no one needs a second Java.
No, the point was to transfer Java developers to its TypeScript derivative.
But why?
What?
I made a claim that no one needs a second Java, and he says the point is to just a Java developer to its new language. Yeah, I was literally saying.
Only a second Java, so
Yeah,
no one needs a
that's
second Java is what we're trying to make. And he's saying everyone needs a second Java.
Yeah, everyone needs a second Java. Why? Because we love learning new stuff. We love
Because
our
reason.
tools not working. We love tools not working. We love no packages. We love the most popular package of that language. Only had 27 stars on GitHub.
Yep.
That's what we want as developers. This is the crazy part, right? This is the part where I was saying Huawei should open source their operating system. Like we don't need another proprietary operating system.
Oh yeah,
And
that's true. Like what's his argument against this?
Instant ARM chip, so like everything is proprietary.
I think that's also the point you made like in the very first video.
Yeah. This is the original reaction that we are talking about. Even install that.
Just like Apple is proprietary, so Apple is no longer going to be the only proprietary ecosystem in the market.
Exactly.
There is a market for proprietary systems.
What the fuck are you talking about? Like,
yeah, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, what the fuck I'm talking about? I'm talking about that Apple is not the only proprietary ecosystem.
For starters, Windows is not open source, okay?
Yeah, that's true. You're fucking Windows right now. Is it open source?
In the market anymore.
That's it. You're objectively wrong by using Windows. You're objectively fucking wrong.
Yes, exactly. He's not technically wrong. He's saying Apple is no longer the only proprietary, which is true. There's also Windows, but is he trying to say like the Apple was the only proprietary operating system in the market? Then he's wrong.
Apple was never
Right.
the only proprietary operating system.
Yeah, that's Windows, right? There's Windows.
I wish Huawei was making a true open source operating
Is Apple macOS a true open source operating system? Not
Of course
according
not.
to the fact.
Of course not. And that's the
That
big issue,
doesn't
right?
that doesn't affect us. One like wishing Huawei making a true open source operating system.
Yeah, like those two things are completely unrelated. And also like
We also wish macOS is open source.
I feel like he's actually an Apple fanboy. He's like
Yeah, he's actually an Apple fanboy.
he
That doesn't
just
make
like Apple for some reason. She's just like, oh, we need to. And this is a problem with Huawei, right? They want
like
to be
everything
Apple.
Apple did is correct. Like that's his argument. I don't know.
Like what is
Apple is
what-
not macOS is not open source. So what? So
Apple macOS is not even open source.
yeah.
It's proprietary.
Yeah.
So what point are you making?
We are saying
We want-
you shouldn't be
We want
another
Homeware
macOS.
people before.
We don't need a second macOS. That's what we were
Yeah,
saying.
we don't need
just
just
like
macOS.
just like the original arguments for we don't need a second Java. Like
And
we don't
actually,
need
like
to-
HarmonyOS is even worse than macOS. Based on what I read, like it doesn't
even if it
support.
is-
We cannot use Terminal or HarmonyOS. Like the Terminal did nothing. You cannot change the settings. Using Terminal, you cannot install package. In Terminal, you don't have any like root access in Terminal, so you cannot sudo things. The Terminal is
Yeah.
basically trash. Or HarmonyOS. So
yeah.
it's definitely worse than macOS. Like this is like a worse version of macOS. And macOS is not good enough either, right? So we want a better version of I don't know, either macOS or some Linux distro. I think if HarmonyOS is a Linux distro, it would be like decent. But at this point it's just completely trash. We don't need a second macOS. And you're saying, okay, macOS is not open source. That doesn't explain anything or doesn't make anything better.
Yeah,
Right.
for starters, none of us are like big Apple fans, unlike Mr. Living Harmony. And second,
Yeah.
I think
We don't
I
think
think-
Apple is the real solution like the macOS.
and second, maybe it's not a popular position to have in the People's Republic. But I do personally believe originality fucking matters. You shouldn't be a copy of something.
That's also true. Even at this point, I argue that HarmonyOS is definitely not a copy of macOS because it's like infinite work.
No, I
Is
feel like
easily-
he's arguing the righteousness of copying, which is a very foreign concept to me. Like
Yeah,
we
that's
can argue
also that's also true word. Like
because
copying
both of
what
us,
macOS you is not the right thing
it's
to do.
not a virtuous act.
Yeah.
Like that is just straight out not.
Like it just doesn't make sense from all perspectives. You're trying to copy what macOS is doing, and macOS is not good enough to
And
begin with.
also, none of us,
And Mhm.
and I think none of us had made any arguments in regards to Harmony OS being a carbon copy of any other operating system, because it's
Yeah.
not.
Mm.
We were saying the business model, like the parts that kind of matters, were a copy of another thing.
Why is Huawei have to be obligated to create a open source operating system?
He's so
it's
yucky.
definitely not.
He's not obligated
Yeah, it's not
to do
obligated
anything.
to use those.
It's not illegal. No one's saying it's illegal to make a
Yeah,
proprietary operating
it's
system.
just like a little bit. It's a pity. It's a shame.
Yeah, it like, and also it's entirely an opinion piece, right? It's an opinion piece, and if your opinion is backed by facts and evidence. Sure, but his opinion is unfounded. Because there is no evidence to suggest his claim is
This
facing any.
like macOS is not open source, so we should not open source. That's not it.
It does
You
not
know,
follow. Like
yeah.
that just doesn't follow.
To serve what? To do what?
To solve the licensing issue to begin with, right? Again, like the whole reason why, at least the reason that Huawei claims to be doing that in the first place is because US sanction, right? Wouldn't it be really
Yeah.
cool so that we can have an operating system that is principally unsanctionable, that is principally free? Wouldn't it be interesting for China, a country for its kind of famous hard-handed government intervention, to be able to create something that is truly free of the control of the state? That would be interesting and innovative and actually solving the problem that Huawei is in right now. Like, imagine Harmony OS be the savior of like all the other countries out there. Like any country that's like not friendly with America. Just imagine, like, again, let's just play the devil's advocate here, right? Let's just say, hypothetically, Huawei, like, it's good to have a Chinese company be the leader of like all the technical innovation, right? Let's assume that is the case, which is something that he presumably believes. Like, if you truly believe that, why wouldn't you want to have a licensing model that solves those issues, right? Like, what Huawei's doing is not solving any issue. What they are doing is just creating more problems for themselves. Like, if you don't have your own language, you don't have to deal with things like package management. If you use TypeScript, you can just use npm. But no, they have to use their own thing. And it's not compatible with TypeScript. So what? Why are you even doing that? Like, they're creating problems, not solving them.
Yeah, I guess the point, I think like one of the point you might want to make is like, according to Huawei, like the US sanction can lead to, I don't know, like them not being able to use Windows or other operating systems, but like the new HarmonyOS is still not open source, so it's still like the same anyway. There's still no open source operating system in the market at this point, so it doesn't change anything, right? I guess that's the point on to it.
When they spend research and development
I think he just doesn't get it.
in not just software, hardware too. They build their own things. They sell to their customers, dedicated customers. Just as they sell their telecom equipment. So should they open source their telecom equipment?
Like, one big reason why there was a US sanction over Huawei's telecom equipment in the first place is because they were running proprietary firmware. And the US government wanted to inspect their firmware. Like, just imagine from the national security standpoint, right? Americans don't trust Chinese. That's a fact, right? How do you solve the trust issue? By not being open? Like, why not? What is there to hide? Is there like IP infringement?
Well, I guess like people can argue that for, I don't know, for companies like this, there might be some like trade secret or like their own proprietary codes to hide. So I guess it still makes sense. You can have your own proprietary software, proprietary
No,
like.
it doesn't. Like, proprietary driver is not a sensible. Proprietary driver is not a sensible business model because drivers are tied to the hardware, right? Drivers are tied to the hardware.
That's true. Yeah. Like, so you still have to spend money to buy Huawei's hardware to use the driver. Otherwise, there's nothing you can get from just the source code, right?
And
or maybe
also, like,
easier. I'm not sure.
there is not like in the early days, all the drivers were open source. You can say, oh, it's trade secret, whatever. I can understand them for the perspective of a regular company. They want to keep their trade secret, which is fair. But again, open sourcing it is going to solve a problem for Huawei.
That's true.
And they're not solving that problem. Like, we are all here to solve problems, right? Like, no one, like, why would anyone wants to create problems?
If they are going to demand their own operating system, the only argument could be we don't care about sanction. We will just assume that US will sanction every single technology as they can, and we are going to develop
But the
everything
thing
from
is,
ground up.
they're not, right? Like, Huawei can still buy Snapdragon chips.
Yeah, that's true.
What they've been doing. Huawei can still get access to TSMC. All the problem related to sanctions were not solved by Huawei's bullshit decisions like over there. All of the Huawei's problem was solved by the fucking American government. Most of Huawei's problem were solved by the Democrats. Think about it. Most of the problems were actually solved by Joe Biden. Joe Biden allowed Huawei to buy fucking chips from the Qualcomm. Joe Biden allowed those access. It was fucking Joe Biden.
To other competitors. No, that's not.
Again, like, open sourcing it doesn't mean that other competitors can just use it. That's not how it works.
Well, I would argue that maybe they can like reverse engineer it. It's easier for them to reverse engineer your like proprietary hardware design. Is that something maybe they can do with your open source fiber or open source
Well,
software?
let me give you an example. At least open source the user. Again, I'm saying open source the user way. Like, HMS Core is a trivial software to write. I think even you and I can probably recreate HMS Core. Give enough time.
That's true.
It's not that hard. It's trivial for anyone who knows how to program to write it. The hard part is getting other people to use that.
That's true.
And closed sourcing it is not solving the adoption problem.
Well, for example, maybe like I don't know, I have a new algorithm, I have new I don't know, software feature, and making it open source would it
What
make it
is
easier
the
for
software
other?
feature out there that like a switch would need? I don't think there are that many.
For
I think
example, one
most-
thing I can think of is maybe like if I have the continuity feature like on macOS, I can use like the same mouse and keyboard on multiple platforms, which Huawei also have the same feature right now. For example, if like another software development company like Xiaomi or
Do you
other
really think they're using fancy algorithm? There's no way that they're using fancy algorithm.
Yeah, I guess like yeah, that's true.
There
Like
is no
don't
algorithm
think
to use
any-
over there.
I don't think this. I guess the point
just
that's a
say
good
each
point.
has-
Nothing to protect. Like Huawei doesn't have fancy algorithm. That's true. Like, but they're making it closed source anyway. Let's just assume that they think it's difficult to develop all those features. Let's just assume it.
Again, it's not solving the adoption problem. It's not solving, again, some government can just ban companies from doing business. It's not solving the problems that Huawei was claiming to solve, right? Like, they were claiming
Yeah,
to
wait.
solve those
What
problems.
was the problem Huawei was claiming to solve? Like
US
I think they're
sanction?
claiming to solve the sanction problem, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like,
what is
fancy-
the sanction problem? The source, the core of the problem is US can
American
sanction
government.
hardware,
It's
software.
like American
that-
government and how the software was licensed, right? Like,
Mhm.
the reason why Huawei can't install Windows
Yeah,
is
man.
because Microsoft is an American company and American government has control over Microsoft, right?
Yeah.
But if it's free software, there is no such a control. If you're like actually trying to solve the problem, making it open source is definitely solving the problem. making it proprietary. Again, making it proprietary, would you still agree at least that it hurts adoption? It definitely hurts adoption.
I guess
right?
yeah. I guess I kind of understand what's the point you're trying to make. Is no matter what you do, like no matter if you want to make it open source or not, it kind of solves the problem of not relying on US technology, not relying on Windows and other operating system, but it doesn't, like, it's unrelated to solving the problem. Like making it proprietary does not solve the US engine problem, but also does not make it worse. It's just like a orthogonal direction to the problem. But making it proprietary.
Here's a cheek analogy. Here's a cheek analogy. They're gonna send you a bunch of emoji. Cheek difference. A cheek analogy. Okay. A cheek analogy.
Okay.
You know, like
Yeah,
the
it's just like
data TCF. There's a saying
what?
that
Oh, okay.
TCF,
Okay,
the
TCF. Yeah.
like the Western medicine cures the symptom, but the TCF cures the cause.
Okay, yeah.
I think what Wally is doing here is curing the symptom, but it's not curing the cause.
Yeah, that's true. And also, I think what you mean by like it doesn't solve the problem is like it doesn't solve the problem of no one is using it. Like actually is just one of the problem with Huawei's tech stack. So they have their own operating system, right? And here comes another problem: is there's not enough user for a software, or like not enough. It's just fact. There's not enough package on Harmony OS. There's not enough software on Harmony OS. It's just a true fact. And making it closed source just doesn't solve this problem. Is that something you want to say?
Yeah. And like, I think a better example that I can think of right now is something like bot. Like, if Huawei adopt, like, at least approach it similar to bot, that would be a lot more interesting, right? Like, be completely compatible to Android, but you add like a bunch of proprietary APIs that make it really easy to do development. But if you don't want
Yeah,
to
I guess, yeah, that's also like the feeling I had before. It's like Huawei is just shooting its own foot all the way, like all the time.
I just
And
imagine like Huawei still using Kotlin. But it has like an extra SDK package that allows like a bunch of like really fancy stuff. That would be cool, right?
Yeah, like you can add backward, like if you have backward compatibility for like other language, it will solve a lot of problems. Like at this point,
I don't think their languages are solving any problem. Like the syntax is fine, but like what's the point of using that language in the first place? So like if you
like how is this language introduce more problems?
If you just use Java, like those won't be a problem to begin with, and like you can still achieve like all the shitty propaganda material that they claim to achieve, right? Like there's no reason why Java can't call an API. Yeah, what the yeah.
That's not how it works. When you're giving your competitive edge to other companies free willing. That's not how life works. So if that's the case, Apple shouldn't be having its proprietary ecosystem.
Yeah, exactly. Apple shouldn't be having its proprietary ecosystem. That is exactly why it is currently under the investigation of the European Trade Committee. You're making the case for us. Apple is not a good company. Apple, especially its business practice, is not good. It's not good. Why are you copying a bad business model?
Ecosystem in the market, it should be open source too. Since Darwin, its core is open source, it shouldn't stop developers by telling them that this is read only. You can't.
This is the weirdest part. So I thought he doesn't know about like the Darwin kernel being open source. He then jumps in to say, "Oh, actually, Darwin kernel is in fact open source." So what is it trying to say? Let's see what he has to say.
You can't build a competitor to macOS on the Darwin core. Okay? So, yeah, if we want to talk like that, in that logic,
Read another Wikipedia article. But why? What point is it trying to make?
let's talk about this.
Yeah, it's an open source kernel. What is there to talk about?
I don't know what the fuck is Brody.
What is there to talk about?
Where is the true open source operating system?
Linux, I guess.
GNU Linux? Yes. Hello, GNU Linux.
Because
But
currently
why
it's
the
open
fuck
source
does
and
this bro
proprietary.
think we are using Mac OS? Like, how
I don't
does he think about? Like, why he
No.
bring a Mac OS in the first place?
Said because that way macOS will be the only proprietary system. No, he brought that macOS.
Yeah, he brought the Mac OS up. Like, yeah.
Hold on, where is it? Oh, yeah, I was saying it's proprietary. I didn't even say macOS. He brought it up
Yeah, you
in the
talking about Mac
in
OS.
his original reaction. And we were just talking about that doesn't make any fucking sense. The all reaction to a reaction. Like, I'm fully convinced that he's actually just an Apple fan. He probably likes liquid glass as well.
General public license.
Bro's reading GPL. So what? GPL exists, therefore open source doesn't exist. What does it mean?
Previous versions were released under an earlier version of APSL license, which did not meet FSF definition of free software.
Yes, but you didn't ask FSF has an operating system, right? And also, like, this is the title of this video. He clearly he thought we were like Linux codes or something. So I have no idea what he's trying to say.
What's the title of this video again? From
Respond
the
to
true illogical Linux false properties.
there should be A or D. Like you need to qualify the amount of videos. You need to qualify the amount of videos. You have grammar mistake in your fucking title. How about you stop pretending to be British? Like this is so disgusting.
Since
And then we talk about US sanction again. Let's jump through now. Those are open source. But like even Apple open sources their kernels, but that's like not useful. Like yeah, I literally made the Apple open source their kernel and it's not useful. It's like, do you know Apple open source their kernel? As if I didn't know that.
I don't know. What the fuck is this deep cooking?
Keep tinkering their devices.
Open source and tinkering are two different things.
no.
No.
Just
Yeah, what's his
now.
argument? Like, I'm curious why
His
he thinks
argument
like
is
open
no.
source is reality.
Okay, let's see what he has to say. Go ahead and
Who
cut.
wants to open a fucking terminal?
Open source
Why
and
do you have to
terminal
open
are
your
two
terminal if
different
you
things.
struggle to open source system? Like, how's that related?
That's bullshit. You can just download Firefox. It's entirely open source.
Yeah, how is that related? The problem is, how is it related? Why do you have to open up a terminal for an open source system? How is
I've
it
never
related?
opened up any terminal for Thunderbird. And Thunderbird is entirely open source. And a lot of people are using it.
I don't
What
get
does
it.
it even mean? Like open source and terminal are just like complete contingent ideas.
Yeah,
Like you shouldn't even expect he knows anything about programming. Like even just for like a regular, just a regular tech YouTuber probably knows more than him.
When they launch a PC.
No one's fucking opened a terminal when they launch a PC. And also technically, you always look at a terminal. It's just
That's
a
also true.
fancier terminal.
It's
The
just-
problem with Linux, there are a lot of fundamental issues. The out-of-the-box experience is crap.
Excuse me, but what you're referring as Linux is in fact GNU/Linux, or as I've been recently calling it, GNU plus Linux.
He doesn't understand it.
Let's just play devil's advocate, saying, Linux doesn't work out of the box. And you have to be a hackerman every time you open up. Let's assume that is the case. Wouldn't it be really nice if Huawei can change that?
Yeah, like it's just not related. It's just not related.
Yeah, I know.
Like like using a terminal and having open source, it's just not related at all. Like I don't understand what is he talking about.
Try setting up your games on it, especially back.
Have you heard of our Lord and Savior, Steam?
How was like Harmless solve this problem? Like there's even no games of Harmless at this point.
No, you can
You
play.
cannot run up your game.
You can play
There's
the real
literally
game.
no game,
Genshin
but that's
Impact.
for some mobile
Genshin
games.
Impact. Genshin Impact.
Yeah, but
is
you can look at his
AAA
channel. He posted some
gaming.
games. There's some hand games. There's fucking mobile games. There's no games on Harmless.
Shut up. Genshin Impact is AAA gaming.
No, we cannot actually play Genshin Impact on Harmless.
really?
Do you know that?
Really?
The only way to play Genshin Impact is like through some cloud gaming on browser.
That is really? Are you sure about that? That
I'm
sounds
pretty
really
sure
basic.
the most like the largest game on desktop Harmless right now
Okay, let's
is
read.
Blue
Holy
Archive.
Lab. Shh. Oh wait, I think it like the Harmony OS PC is not officially out yet, so it probably can't really.
Well, that's also true. Like there's
Also,
some
let's just
like
skip that point. I don't want to make unsubstantiated claims.
okay, yeah,
I
maybe it'll be supported in a few months, but
Yeah, I
Still,
have some
like
integrity.
you're not
Alexa
install
and
stable
someone.
Harmless desktop. That's just
Yeah, that's
literally
Backwards compatible games, OpenGL with Vulkan games.
What does it even mean? OpenGL with broken games.
With that glibc, breaks compatibility all of a sudden. Your games don't work.
Which fucking Linux distro doesn't come with glibc?
I don't know what Linux distro that he uses. I don't get it.
The setup of Proton itself, you have to use a compatibility layer on top.
This is the stupid part. Do you even know how Harmony OS works? The entire shit is supposed to run on a compatibility layer. I thought Harmony OS was compatible with Android, not actually Android. Are you trying to tell me Harmony OS is literally just Android? What the
Like you're not going to run any like Android games or any like Linux games. The only possible way is to have a compatibility layer. And at this point, Harmless doesn't have such layers, so you cannot literally just not run those games. Not being able to run these games under a compatibility layers doesn't mean it's better. It's just like it's literally worse than Linux, right? It's worse than Linux because on Linux at least you can use a compatibility layer to run like games with Proton. But on Harmless, there's no compatibility layers at least at this point, and I don't think anyone would think this is better. And I think this is one of the very stupid idea is the solution Huawei proposed are always just very stupid because like the solution for cross-platform support is just making every single person on this planet using HarmonyOS device, and you don't need to support other platforms. How is that cross-platform support? And the solution they propose to not using compatibility layer is just not having it at all. And every developer should develop a HarmonyOS specific games. How is that solving the cross-platform support issue? Like that's not solving the problem. It's just making the problem worse and worse for developers and users.
Yeah, why are they trying to remove the Android compatibility layer? That's like a good thing, right? Like, why would you want that?
Just like this dude, like the Living Harmony dude, claim a lot of people believe that having a compatibility layer or having the software would make it harder to use. So they just delete it all the way, and this just make the ecosystem infinitely worse. It's just there's no software on this platform.
I don't know. This is both true antichrist, the true antichrist. The judgment day is coming. The end is coming. The end is
Actually,
coming.
To run the games you want. Where is the value of that platform itself?
Do you know a thing called WSL? Why does Windows need a compatibility layer with Linux? Why does hacking Harmony OS need a compatibility layer with Linux?
It's not, especially when comparing to OpenHarmony.
What can run on OpenHarmony? Linux is not as compatible as OpenHarmony. What is
I
there
don't know.
to run on OpenHarmony?
And our problem he mentioned is not solved by Harmony OS at all. Like if you want to run games from other platforms, you still need it. I don't know what the fuck is bro cooking.
There's a complete system. It's approachable. Something like that.
How approachable. Like imagine not even able to run your own IDE on your machine. Like imagine Apple can't you have to rely on a fucking Chromebook to develop for iOS. Imagine how's that approachable? How's that a complete ecosystem? It's anything but complete.
You need 4 platform success. Google think they can do it with ASOP, with Android.
Google's AOSP ASOP. This is the first time I see anyone call it AOSP ASOP.
For PC. No, they don't have the formula.
What is the secret Krabby Patty formula? What is it?
Windows didn't win because it was the most powerful. It won because it was the most approachable.
Windows won because it was the earliest.
While Linux was busy flexing in the terminal and customizing kernels and on top.
This is just like garbage talk. I think we can just skip this. Oh, here's an interesting point, actually. This is actually a fairly good point that he brought up.
Okay.
To get off.
I think this might be the best point of his entire video.
Okay.
That DRM issue. Game companies not to get.
There's a DRM issue if you're doing open source.
Okay.
Right? If everything's open source, it's really hard to do DRM. You can even argue it's impossible to do DRM.
Yep.
I think that's a good point. But I'm personally against copyright, so there's that. But what do you think? Do you think that's a fair point?
No. I think it's fair. Like this, I guess this is the fair point for having a closed source operating system, I guess. But that doesn't explain the. I don't know. I still think like the way Huawei made their like desktop operating system is just like a larger mobile operating system, and their mobile operating system is already not good enough. Just made me believe this is not a good operating system at all. Like they should not make this to begin with.
That's
like
right.
so many DRM issue. Like if this is the only reason to make the entire operating system for it, I don't think it's worth it. I just simply don't think it's worth it.
And also Windows doesn't have DRM issue.
At this point, I'm wondering like what's the sauce here? What are we talking about? Are we talking about the mobile Harmony OS, the old like what Harmony are all named Harmony OS?
My original video
So
was
which one?
Page. The place. These 2 AI bots on a rampage.
You were just asking, what's the sauce here? And I was explaining the sauce. And he's like, AI bots on rampage, destroyed.
2 retarded AI bots on a fucking rampage. You can't make this shit up.
Why is he talking so slow? Is he drunk?
I think he's sounding drunk.
Yeah.
Technical standpoints, I guess. But not that interested in.
Hey, imagine he's like actually a Brit. He's in a pub. in a pub
Yeah,
recording things.
Drinking and watching us
Yeah.
roasting on your ass.
That look like
Such a
ironically
pure-
we peak.
Yeah.
That look like ironically peak.
No, you don't know anything technical. You're illiterate. You don't do research.
It's like literally his entire argument is no you. Like when we show like this in the beginning of this video, we literally read the technical documents. She can't even read
Yeah.
those documents.
And he's reading fucking
Fucking
random
Wikipedia
AI generated
generated
article.
article
But
about
he's
the
doing
different.
research. I don't believe he's doing research. No researcher just read random AI generated articles.
There's a thing. You could choose not to care and keep it moving. Enjoy your Linux. Enjoy your BSD open source platforms. Enjoy your Apple platforms. Enjoy Microsoft Windows.
Microsoft
Enjoy
Windows.
Android. Enjoy iOS. Enjoy all these other platforms. Don't sit there and dictate what users should. Why should anyone care?
Again, like we're just saying that would be better. No one's dictating anyone. And also the original video, including this video as well, is entirely opinion based. You're just saying
Yep.
you cannot have opinion. Like this is not an argument. Like everyone has opinion. Like and
That's
you're expressing your opinion, and why can't I express my opinion? Why can
And
you?
he's not expressing his opinion. I still don't know what's his opinion. Like, I think his opinion is still broken.
I think he has no evidence. He knows no
He
technical
has no
detail.
evidence for his own opinion. Like, he just has.
Like for all the flaws
Yeah.
that we have, like for all the flaws that we have, for all the flaws that we're unable to work in Huawei and leak all of their internal details to the internet. Like for all of these flaws, we tried our best to do research instead of reading AI-generated articles.
Yeah. We read the documentation. Like, I don't think he have ever read the documentation for like any programming language or any software.
Why is this person exist? Why these people exist? Fuck off. I can use what I want to use.
No one's stopping you using Microsoft Windows that has some Huawei program installed and therefore it's a Huawei operating system. No one's stopping you from using that. We're not getting into your pub, arresting you,
See,
and installing the new Flash Linux on it.
Yeah.
You know, like there are a lot of people, you know, having like their grandma having their like computers getting hacked every other day, and they just install like a Mint OS on it.
Mhm.
Right? It's like afraid of me doing that to you. Like just like install Mint OS in secret on his PC
Yeah.
without and forgot to install the Huawei Huawei spyware. And it's like, oh no, my HMS core, no.
I can use what I want to invest my time in and develop for. You don't have that power.
You know what power I do have? I have the power to use the platform that I want to and invest the power that I want to invest and share my opinion to the world. And you cannot stop me because it's free speech.
I laid out the facts. You even
What
And-
fact? What fact?
Facts. Java is not TypeScript.
Java is not TypeScript. Facts.
accepted
Facts. It's just layouts. Virtual
It's just
machines.
or not.
And also he's British. That's fact.
They got money. That's why.
Like, dude, look at the graph. The you can saw the graph. Big damn funny.
He's reading another, like, how is this do research? Like,
No. This is the part that I don't understand. How can you simultaneously arguing that Huawei is a company that's under threat and therefore should be protected by all costs, and also simultaneously claiming that it's doing extremely well. Like those two things are like you can either say they're about to fucking die and therefore we need to support it, or you can say they're doing extremely well, so everybody will use Harmony OS. Like, but you cannot simultaneously claim both as at once. It doesn't follow.
Yes.
And also, when you say Ukraine color, bro, standing with Ukraine.
American and European. No body.
Is it because of the graph? Look at the graph. Look at the charts.
Operate.
Yeah, Huawei has employees. Wow. I didn't know Huawei has employees. I can't believe that.
This is so stupid.
People around.
This again proves the previous point that, like, if he had any tactical argument, he would be making tactical arguments.
Instead of showing like random graphs, random numbers.
What the fuck even is that? Yeah, so this is the part where I said, because they're sanctioned by the US, so they cannot push changes to the upstream kernel. So they probably need their own kernel. Which is a very fair take. That I think he agrees.
Okay.
Why would you disagree with that clip? That's, first of all, pro Huawei. That's literally the party line of Huawei. I just added some other facts, such as they are not allowed to push like upstream and like specific things.
Yeah, that's the question I had before. Like, can Huawei contribute to Linux kernel or something like that?
They cannot contribute to
Yeah,
Linux.
you explained to me before. So.
Yeah, and he's gonna destroy me with
Okay.
that like very pro Huawei claim.
Copium levels.
Copium what? It's reality. What is that to cope?
Yeah.
Oh, Huawei can't push changes upstream. Hilarious.
Then why don't you just use Linux? Like that destroyed our point of having your own operating system. Like we're thinking about maybe it's because it's sanctioned
the
by.
paper that we showed in our video.
What the fuck?
I think you know what I think happened. Like this, including the other Darwin kernel one. I think he actually had no idea those things existed.
And he watched our video.
Entire thing. Yeah, and learned those things. And he's just like using those points to destroy us, which doesn't make any sense at any level. Like this is it just doesn't make any sense. Look at the paper. They have a paper. They have a shiny paper. Who cares? Showing a bunch of like, they're getting sanctioned. While we are saying they were sanctioned and they need their own kernel. But they could have done better. But they probably had skill issue, and that is why they're doing what they're doing right now. That's what we're saying. And he's literally proving our points. And I don't even think he necessarily disagree with us. Because we literally said there is fucking sanction. What?
He's just disagreeing with us for reasons.
Yeah. So we have this person replying.
Okay.
And this person replied, exactly. Such a wasting of time to watch this nonsense podcast. Would you call this a podcast?
But
anyway, you might be saying, well, this is just regular comments, nothing special here. And check this person.
Okay.
This account was registered the same fucking day I posted this video.
Bro, just register a new account. No still video. That's
what the hell? You know those informations are public, right? You know those information is public, right? You know that doesn't look good, right? I don't even know what is bro cooking there. Like, cause previously I thought he's just like, maybe he thought like we had ill intentions. I think we have shown the fact that we are like pretty willing to learn more about the great news, the good news of Huawei, right?
Yep.
And I thought he's just going to stop being so adversarial to us. But this time, this video is like, it's way more malicious than the last. It's taking things out of context. It seems like it's like distorting the words that we've said. Like, I just don't understand, like, what is there to virtue signal about? Like if you don't like technology, why make a channel covering technology? That's just going to humiliate yourself, right?
I was
Especially
always
discipline.
thinking if people like them are making such videos to trick Huawei into spending more money into operations like HarmonyOS, into projects like this. So this can actually waste their money, waste Huawei's money.
Okay, so you think he's actually really hated Huawei for some
Yeah,
reason.
I actually hate Huawei because this actually wastes a lot of money.
Exaggeration is
Like this
exaggeration.
operating is just worthless. It's just wasting. It's just a waste of money. And Huawei may think, okay, their customer actually support this, and they should spend more money on this, and it's just making things worse. I think it's definitely wastes Huawei a lot of money. And also, like, if you check out Huawei's product right now, it's so expensive because they spend a lot of money on it, and they have to make profit, and these new products are just expensive and useless. And no one is actually
the
buying it.
reason
So
why
definitely-
Huawei product is expensive is not because of their R&D. The R&D is probably not that.
Okay.
I think the whole reason
Yeah,
why
I
it's so
don't know. That's
expensive
true,
is
right?
probably just they're trying to become a premium brand. I think that's what they're doing.
One reason, but like the things like these projects, like this HarmonyOS, and also like their software tech stack, all spend a lot of money, and I guess this also contributes to their premium price, some sort, in some way, I guess. But yeah, I just think maybe these people are actually trying to waste more money from Huawei. I don't know. I feel like think about HarmonyOS and RTS and the Tangia tech stack. Like, if this is the project inside Apple or Nvidia, it will be shut down years ago, right?
No, if it's Apple, they will like push it out and it will become Swift, and everyone hates it.
But like, I guess it's definitely worse than Swift. Like, Swift was weird with Objective-C, and Apple was using Objective-C for years, so it makes sense.
Actually,
And
why didn't Apple use C++? Why did Apple even have their own C? Like, Objective-C is their own fucking C.
that's just like, I think, well, I don't understand it either. The supporter also wastes Huawei a lot of money because that's their strategy to attack Huawei. What do you
You
think?
know what they say about the to hell, right?
What?
The path to hell is paved with good intentions. I don't necessarily think that person is like malicious. Like, if they're like actually malicious, like not like, you can be stupid and malicious at the same time, right? He's definitely trying to be malicious, but he's also like legitimately stupid. I don't think any Huawei engineer would like actually believe a single sentence that came out of that person's mouth. I think he's just stupid. I think you're like being too conspiratorial. Maybe it's not that deep. Maybe that's actually just a Huawei fan who wants Huawei to be good. But his intention is good. But he doesn't know
Intention is good.
his good
Intention is
intention
not
is going to
good.
lead to hell.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but okay. Yeah, I guess that's it.